I understand that the AAA games industry often does not care at all about game optimization, but 3060 Ti for this, that's just insane to me. Star Wars Outlaws is set to launch in the next 30 days. This is the first so-called open-world Star Wars game to date, being developed by Ubisoft, and has been mired in controversy for the last couple of months. It really began with the premium editions of the game being announced, in which you have to spend well over $100 for the full experience. I just really do not like these practices coming from the AAA games industry. You know, games technically are $70, but you have to spend a lot more than that to get all of the content, and that's exactly what's happening here. They're selling quote-unquote early access. They have paywalled certain missions unless you buy the Ultimate Edition or such. So this is a practice that Ubisoft has become notorious for in recent years, along with their microtransactions in single-player games, and it continues. And that at the time led to the story trailer being mass disliked, along with controversy in regards to the facial look of Kay Vess, the main protagonist of Star Wars Outlaws. A lot of people looking to the model, the voice actor of Kay Vess, and saying, why doesn't it exactly look like her? She's very beautiful, and the character a little less so, and that has been a weird phenomenon happening in the AAA games industry as of late, and it's just another problem, another thing that a lot of people are talking about with Star Wars Outlaws as of late. But things turned a little bit more negative over the summer once we had previews coming from IGN and a couple of other outlets, and we also did see some recent gameplay from IGN. I did a full video on that, and there was a lot of problems with that gameplay. It looked very stiff, it looked very dated, the graphics looked bad. They had a whole side mission in which Kay Vess was going into a Sarlacc pit, and it just looked like a boring cave mission. The explosion effects looked dated, the AI looked broken and dumb at times, and again, that video was mass disliked, and it continued to mount a lot of concerns with gamers about this experience and whether or not it was going to be worth it once it does release at the end of August. Oh, and by the way, the negativity surrounding this recent gameplay preview from IGN even caught the eye of a Bank of America analyst who directly asked Ubisoft leadership if maybe the game should be delayed, and Ubisoft basically said no, the game's going to be amazing, everybody's going to love it, and I guess later in the game gets so much better. Only time will tell with that. And recently we saw more previews coming from many different outlets, many different influencers, and it was more positive. But again, within the gameplay, a lot of these previews, even though that they were positive, there just continued to be the same problems that I personally have caught on to. The bad animations are still there. Some of the takedowns just they don't look great. The broken dumb AI is everywhere within the footage. The space dogfights apparently just aren't that great. There seems to be limited or very little animations for speeder crashes and collisions, running into an animal, a wall, another speeder. It just looks clunky, ugly, and repetitive. It just seems like a massive oversight, especially with all the videos and stuff that happened over the years. You know, with Cyberpunk 2077 is a great example, and the wooden dated facial animations continues to be a massive thing. So look, maybe the story, maybe the choices seem to have, you know, some major role within the game, but the gameplay experience just looks not great, and I think that is a major concern. Now though, there does seem to be more major issues emerging in regards to these recent previews, which came from a number of influencers and gaming outlets. We go to this article coming from That Park Place. Ubisoft buttered up YouTubers and influencers with trips to Disneyland and boat tours to promote Star Wars Outlaws. And this is a topic of discussion that we've had over the years, the relationship of a publisher with influencers or reviewers, journalists, whatever. Because look, while they're not necessarily paying people, like not handing them, here's $5,000, give me positive coverage for a preview, by giving out these, you know, massive expensive trips, it does call into question the authenticity of individuals' opinions about the game, because they can say in the comments, oh no, I didn't get paid, I'm not shilling for the product. But look, in the back of the mind of these influencers, they don't want to miss out on future opportunities. And that is something that definitely needs to be factored into this conversation, but it always seems to be missing. So we continue with this article. It goes on to mention a new investigation into Ubisoft's marketing campaign for Outlaws reveals the company buttered up YouTubers and influencers with trips to Disneyland and boat tours before giving them access to 4 hours of gameplay footage. German YouTuber Cyberpunk 20XX discovered multiple YouTubers and influencers had taken part in this campaign. It continues. First, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot, I can't even say that right, revealed that the company was rolling out its largest marketing campaign ever. What we factored into is a strong launch for Star Wars Outlaws. This game is going to sell no matter what. That's one thing I do need people to understand. Look, we can talk about all of the controversy, we can talk about everything. This is Star Wars, it's going to sell. I don't think anybody's arguing about that. But there is a difference between, multi-million sales and a couple of million. And I do think controversy does factor into that, and also impressions like the ones we're talking about, because that does sway a lot of sales. It does continue. This article coming from, this article of That Park Place, in Guillemot's comments, he said, what we factored in is a strong launch for Outlaws that reflects the fact that it is among the most awaited games of the games industry this year, and a really strong positive community sentiment, and also the fact that we're coming with the biggest marketing campaign ever so far for a Ubisoft game, so that's what we've been factoring in the second quarter. Now, what is this marketing campaign? Well, it looks like this: boat tours and Disney stuff. Part of the biggest marketing campaign ever was flying out YouTubers and influencers to Los Angeles to give them 4 hours of the game. The influencer, YouTuber Cyberpunk, revealed that one of his fellow German YouTubers confirmed the claim that it was the biggest marketing campaign ever. It continues on, saying that they shared footage from British influencer and YouTuber Louis Julie, who revealed she was brought out to Los Angeles by Ubisoft early and was taken on a boat tour that she claims was originally a whale tour to see if we could spot any whales. It just seems kind of weird for a AAA game publisher to take someone out on that type of trip. Again, look, if you're going to be releasing your own preview and saying that you're not biased about the game, it's kind of hard to believe when you're doing stuff like this. Again, this isn't a new phenomenon in this game industry. This is something that's been going on for so long. But she added, so basically they invited a bunch of UK creators who got there early because our flights were booked early because it's a very long travel time. It was like a 12-hour journey. And then they confirmed that Ubisoft was indeed paying for these international and domestic flights for YouTubers and influencers. Again, all of this has to be thousands of dollars. You cited a phrase from Chewie, which states, Ubisoft and Star Wars flew me out to California to play Star Wars Outlaws, interview the game director and lead writer, and meet the cast. I'm beyond grateful for this opportunity. VIP tour of Disneyland tomorrow. Okay, VIP tour. But it does continue on, saying, not mentioned in this video from this YouTuber, but Star Wars HQ revealed that they made lightsabers during the Disneyland VIP experience. He wrote, built an epic lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge yesterday with fellow Star Wars Outlaw content creators and explored the park. It was an absolute blast. And then of note, this YouTuber notes that Louise Julie has denied being paid by Ubisoft. Again, I've already said the issues with that. Paid by Ubisoft to promote the game despite being flown to Los Angeles, given a VIP experience to Disneyland, taken on a whale sighting tour, and being schmoozed at the actual Star Wars Outlaws event. The YouTuber also notes that Ubisoft has held at least 2 of these big events, and he cites Miranda Lorian, who revealed she was invited to 2 events, one in June and another in July. She posted on X, Ubisoft invited me for another incredible week in Cali, and they know how to party. We played a 4-hour demo of Star Wars Outlaws. I adopted my own little Nix and hung out with so many amazing people. More pics coming soon. In a response to another user, she confirmed it was her second trip, so I guess this specific YouTuber got to go 2 times to these events. I know, right? I couldn't believe it either. I'm still not over the jet lag from my last trip. And I will point out that I was not invited to any of these events. It's no surprise. I mean, my content's always been that way. But hey, Ubisoft has been one of the companies I have gotten some preview coverage in the past and such. But it does call into question, who are these individuals getting this type of stuff? Because the more critical eyes in the gaming industry, I never see those offers going their way. Just rather interesting. But there is another controversy associated with review coverage in regards to Star Wars Outlaws, and this again goes to That Park Place, in which German YouTube channel removes their Star Wars Outlaws preview video after admitting third-party agency had to approve it. That's insane. Now, this isn't specifically Ubisoft, but a company associated with Ubisoft, and it just makes me wonder if they're trying to cover and continue that relationship by making sure that they're giving in to Ubisoft's whims, what they want. German YouTuber channel Pete Smith removed their Star Wars Outlaws preview video after admitting, again, a third-party agency had to approve it. It goes on to mention that this post came in the wake of a comment revealing that a third-party agency had to approve their video. I completely understand the arguments that were made here, and that was not correct. I had the opportunity to play the game for 4 hours, and it was edited into over an hour of video. As part of the review process, the entire video was thrown back to us, and an intermediary agency, not Ubisoft, asked for a lot of changes. That's rather interesting. Again, if this is anything associated maybe with like the FTC, that's understandable, but this doesn't seem to be that. Very weird, especially to the wording at the beginning, but I personally thought the game was really cool. I didn't see that as a big problem. This was a huge miscalculation. It's not really clarified what exactly was the issue. Continues saying, as for the wording in the opening of the video, a source who was able to view the video before this YouTuber removed it from the channel informed that Park Place that the YouTuber encouraged viewers to pre-order the game and shared that he liked the game, which I guess that wasn't acceptable. But as it stands, other content creators such as Star Wars Theory revealed that Ubisoft reached out and tried to have some sort of collaboration with them. Obviously nothing came to fruition, as Star Wars Theory made clear that he was going to be completely honest and he wanted compensation for it. But the thing is, with these AAA games publishers, it's not just Ubisoft. They won't pay you with hard cash, they'll pay you with access and a grand tour, grand experience such as a trip to Disneyland, boat tours, and all of that those goodies and such. We've seen that with Activision. You know, you get these giant loot crates and stuff from Call of Duty, and the thing is, that buys a lot of opinions from various influencers. That is enough, because a lot of these content creators do not want to miss out on these future opportunities, so they're not going to step out of line. They're not going to give their true, honest opinion with games like maybe Star Wars Outlaws, maybe the latest Call of Duty. Those are just a couple of examples. But the thing is, with Star Wars Outlaws, the jury is still out on this experience. It could be a grand time. Right now, I just see a lot of red flags, and even in some of the recent revelations about the gameplay experience, it just makes me feel like this is not going to be the open world Star Wars game that I thought it was going to be. We had this recent report coming from Games Radar, which said that Star Wars Outlaws doesn't let you kill or steal from friendly civilians, and just like that, my hopes of GTA in space have been dashed. And the thing is, you're a space scoundrel, kind of like Han Solo. The fact that you can't steal and rob from people, it doesn't really make much sense to me, especially when you're working for these evil syndicates and such. But yeah, I guess this should be expected out of Ubisoft, that they're not going to go too far with the actual content, and KVS is probably just going to be a de facto good guy character with all of the decisions and everything that we're presented with. It does indeed make me a little bit less enthused, but Ubisoft has also revealed their season pass plans, a giant roadmap. I guess they have a story pack coming later on this year with Lando being featured, and then in 2025, veteran pirate Hondo Onaka will be featured in that story DLC expansion of sorts. So there are indeed some big post-launch plans for Star Wars Outlaws, but at the moment, I'm more concerned about the day one version of this experience. But anyway, what do you make of Star Wars Outlaws? Are you planning to buy it, play it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, or if you found any informative value, and consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.